not a Nigerian, I'm just an African that sees the stupidity in the tribalism in the national context. I think the stupidity you see is actually the one in yourself. You'll be looking in the mirror. I think you've been looking in the mirror lately, which is a good thing, by the way. What's your name? I'm going to mention you by name. Izo. I think you've been looking in the mirror lately and you're seeing the stupidity in you. And let me tell you why it's stupid. It's because you have an assumption that just because you are in one sovereign nation, you are all the same. You have not thought deeply about that. That's why you're stupid. Because if you're calling what I'm saying stupid, it definitely means that you've not been thinking. The reality is that you have been brought together into one place. You have sovereignty, but you don't have nationalism. You cannot have it because you are not the same. And by the way, I keep saying it. Why do blacks have this funny way of thinking about life? Nobody in the world talks about unity like Africans talk about it. You cannot be talking about unity because you are trying to form unity by force. Unity how? Amongst people from your ethnic group, you've never found cohesion. You're looking for Nigerian or African unity. Are you serious? Do you know what it took for Yoruba people to even forget all the wars that we fought amongst ourselves to come up with our own ideology during our Wars time? You've not done it with your ethnic group. You want to do it with Nigeria. Are you okay? You go to the UK now, you think as a Welsh person, you go to Ireland and tell them that we not want Britain. You guys, you didn't even form your countries. None of us in Africa lives in a nation that will determine the borders. We didn't determine our own borders. And you're coming here to tell me about nationalism and tribalism. You don't even know what you're talking about. A nation you did not form, you are fighting for, based on something you don't even understand how it came to be. Meanwhile, the person who formed that nation for you, he has a way he practices stuff in his own nation. He doesn't tell anybody. You don't see an English person telling an Irish person, Northern Ireland, oh, we are all one. We are all one. Why must you be using one to kill yourselves? The person will join you together, they are not one, and they don't care for oneness in that sense. Now they shout unity. What you call tribalism in Africa, it's called nationalism in Europe. It's just that you think less of yourselves. You think you are primitive. You think you are less than the whites. So what is the solution? The solution is that everybody should delineate. While you are in Nigeria, you hold on to what is yours. Why? Because that's your ancestral space. And your mother's, and that's the only thing you can bequeath to the next generation. I don't want to lose my space because you don't have land where you're coming from. And when we say land, I'm not talking about buying plots of land. I'm talking about ownership of the space. The culture of the land, the traditions of the land, the vision that the people have, their outlook of life, their worldview. Those are the things that makes the land the land. And I'll say this sincerely, it's a shame that most people who come here to say it's low. You live abroad, but you don't understand how the society you live in works. This is how societies all over the world, this is how it works. It's only in Africa you think is a problem. It's how it works. You don't jump from Wales to Scotland to tell them how to run Scotland because we are all in the same England, in the same UK. Everybody knows their space. Everybody, you know your space, you know your limits, you know your boundaries, and we build Britain, but I have my home and we are all fine. Now only here you carry the shout, say, we not one Nigeria, we not one Nigeria. No place else in this world. Now only Africa. And let me say, the reason you are always asking for unity is because you know naturally you are not together. And you cannot legislate unity. At least not this way. Not in a multi-ethnic state like. Let me tell you something. If we had like a Singapore, would have been way better than this. Way better than this. Let's say if this was Singapore, it would be way better. You know why? Singapore has 20% Malays and Indians. And then the rest for different people. So because they are the majority, you can use ethnicity. You have, but Nigeria, is it me Yoruba that will change something without you thinking that I'm trying to encroach? Because there's no clear majority. All over the world, nations are built on ethnic identity. It's a fact. African nations are not built on ethnic identity because African nations were formed by external factors who don't care about the ethnic affinity of the nations in the sovereign spaces they created, which means those in those sovereign spaces have two options. Either you break it apart which I think can be very cumbersome, or you reorganize yourselves the way India did. What we are saying here is not even new. Reorganize yourselves the way India did. Do it based on ethnicities and linguistics, but you're still one nation. Look at Nigeria and don't think of America. Think of Europe. You have many nations within one nation, and you want to govern it and be shouting, why are we not united? I understand you now. I just came across as hate for the East in the beginning. Izo, please just listen to me. Forget what you have heard before. Just listen, test me out. Forget that. Just listen to what I am saying. I'm not against any ethnic group. I don't hate any ethnic group. And I'll tell, in fact, let some people come. So it may not be like I say they don't